acolo este, va fi corner, dragi ascultători.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the commentaries for Val Verde Broadcasting. I'm Duncan Casey. This here, what is next to me is Richard Jackson. Hello.
Grations. That is the clarion call of my people. I don't know. I don't know.
So today we are going to do a commentary to Robocop 3 because why not?
Why not?
I don't know. We're struggling with things. We're coming up with things to do, and it just seemed like we're on a three roll.
Here's the thing. So I've technically done this twice. Mm-hmm. Right? Oh, no, not technically. I have. One of those no longer exists on the internet, and the other one is no doubt going to be replaced by a version with someone else soon, by the look of things.
I guess. You
know what I'm referring to probably at home. So also, I think Robocop 3... I'm not going to do Robocop again because I've talked about it way too many times. But Robocop 3 is one I've probably talked about the least, and I think it is quite interesting for a number of reasons, and I think there's a lot to say. And if you were never associated with Oliver Harper's channel and are purely a Val Verde fan, then this is probably new to you, so cool. We hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair enough. So let's just get into it, shall we? If you are going to watch along, please... I should let you tee this up since you have control.
Okay, Capcom ready for launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch.
3, 2, 1, turn.
This is an example of a thing that I have begrudgingly because it exists in a box set.
Yeah,
sort of like
kind of you have to have it.
I think when I got Blues Brothers, you had to get it with Blues Brothers 2000. And it's like I was sort of wanting to throw that disc away, but then OCD wouldn't allow it. So.
It's like when I bought the Wolverine, it came with X-Men Origins Wolverine, so I actually have 2 copies of X-Men Origins Wolverine on Blu-ray, and I couldn't give it away. I think I did manage to foist it onto Jimmy or something at one point, and I doubt he's ever watched it.
Sweet Wolverine. That's sweet Wolverine business. It's an interesting film. I mean, it's one of the most famous kind of train wrecks of all time. Really.
Interesting opening on a CGI city that we just had with Batman.
Yeah, the Batman
Phantasm
video we just did. I mean, this looks awful, doesn't it? I mean, I know it's kind of supposed to in a way, but it's a really terrible blue screen.
Well, it's a pony kind of advert for Delta City, isn't it? Or not Delta? What is it?
Yeah, Delta City. Delta City. So Mario Machado is back as Casey Wong, but he's got a new co-anchor here. Quanker. I mean, this is where to start with this. So Frank Miller wrote this ridiculous whale of a script for Robocop 2 and 3 because Newmeyer and Miner weren't going to do it, and I've read that, and there is a comic version of it. It's mental. They kind of carved that into 2 halves for Robocop 2 and 3. Different screenwriters. Fred Decker adapted this half
of the double decker.
Black and Decker. So Rip Torn and Mako there, now both dead. Isn't that fun?
Gosh, yeah.
R.I.P. Rip Torn as of this week. It's kind of this comic booky thing. It's toned down. I mean, this is a 15, whereas there's 18. So I don't know how that relates to American ratings. Yeah. Still quite deathy,
Yeah.
It's still quite kind of deathy, but it's one of the things I find that really doesn't help this, and I can't remember the cinematographer from Robocop 2, but obviously in the first one you have Jost Vacano, and there's lots of really interesting cinematography in that. This film is very kind of flat. There's not a lot of movement in it. It feels quite set bound as well, which I kind of feel the original Robocop didn't, because this kind of house here just feels like a set. This is Gary Kibb, who did They Live and a few different things, like quite a lot of stuff. It's a weird mixed bag, his cinematography, but he's worked with some real names. I just find it, it's not visually very interesting is one of its problems.
I think also this kind of it loses the meta-ness that the first 2 had, whereas the first 2 were sort of comments on things, on sequels or on
I mean, ironically, not meaning to derail that, the only one of the few kind of decent meta things in it is they show Robocop as a toy at the beginning.
Well, that's what prompted me to sort of say that.
Right, like it's not.
It's
that feels like more of an accident than anything else.
I don't think subtextually. That's kind of what the second one said. With the whole focus group and everything, and it's like this doesn't have any.
We talked about that great. That really goes in hard on that stuff. Which is kind of why it's great.
It sort of feels like a fairly hollow experience. I mean, it's I gather was a box ticking exercise as well, and didn't really have the, it didn't have the. What was the production for this was a real nightmare, wasn't it? It didn't come out for ages.
And it was when Orion was kind of going down the toilet. It cost 22 million. It made 10. I think it was shot in 1991. Didn't come out till 1993.
That's right.
Got kicked to hell by the critics. Understandably. Because look at that. That's a great shot. Look at what's going on there.
Yeah.
The staging of that, all these extras and stuff running about.
There's deep background stuff going on.
And that feels a bit more in keeping with kind of a Paul Verhoeven type thing. And these guys, this has got a bit of a Starship Troopers vibe before Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
The thing that kind of is often forgotten is there are a lot of returners here. I mean, obviously not Peter Weller, but Basil Polidoris did not do the score for Robocop 2. Leonard Roseman did.
That's right.
And I think Basil Polidoris should have done Robocop 2, but he was off doing Hunt for Red October or something. Is that right?
Something like that, yeah.
I think he was doing something else. Rocco Joffrey comes back to do matte paintings, I believe. So that's a thing. Rob Bottin and the so-called Robo team come back to do the suit. So the suit looks great.
Yeah.
I think Bottin's lot designed the gun arm, which is a stupid thing, and the jetpack, which is a stupid thing, but they make them cohesive with Robocop.
Yeah, in and of themselves, they look good. It's just they're not.
Yeah, it's just. It's just not appropriate. As they'd say in Team America, it's not an appropriate time to F. Also, just to continue, we are on the we're not allowed to swear bandwagon.
Yeah.
It went very badly. The last commentary, I'm saying it out loud to mentally reinforce that for myself.
Okay.
Here's the great CCH Pounder,
who we talked about in Mask of the Phantasm, in relation to Amanda Waller.
So she's a great Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
She's like, to me, she just kind of is Amanda Waller.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this is the thing, like the message that the message of Robocop that corporations are bad is here, but that is literally just characters saying corporations are bad.
Yeah.
There's no sort of like texture to it in particular.
No nuance, is there?
No, it's. Look at this. This is one of the stronger shots.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of pulling out, and there's all these extras and stuff there. It's craning out. But it does, I don't know, do you know what it feels like? It kind of feels like a feature-length Power Rangers episode or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have, it's a veneer, it's all veneer, and I do think that they just sort of, I don't know, it's so typical of this kind of thing where it's like that what Robocop apparently played to the most when it came out was people who like robot men and explosions and gunfights, and it's like rather than people who love something with substance. And I suppose that's probably true. I mean, I don't know. So it's kind of what's informed the sequels, less so with Robocop 2, but certainly with this, is it's like, it's mainly just about robot men who shoot stuff, and it's like, this opening stuff as well is very drawn out. I remember when I was younger and I used to try and fast forward it to Robocop turning up, because it was like, this stuff seems to take forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's sort of lazily, well, not lazy, but it's just like meanders through a setup that doesn't.
So Robocop 2, because Robocop 1 has to have the setup because it's Robocop 1.
Yeah.
And yes, we know it's not called Robocop 1, that guy. Idiot. It's Robocop 2 comes on strong because Robocop comes out and does Robocop stuff immediately.
Yeah.
And this has this whole kind of like I will say this much: this is in terms of what the plot is. It's a natural extension of the Robocop kind of storyline in it. They were going to build the city and evict all these people, and it's about gentrification, right?
Yeah.
So it's an extension of that. They do the American fear of Japanese invasion. It's done. So you've got Mako as the CEO guy, and Stephen Root.
Oh yeah,
from Office Space and other things.
Many a Coen brothers film.
He's Bill Dauterive in King of the Hill.
Oh, right.
Bill.
Vaguely.
Bill Dauterive went through the hardest divorce Ireland has ever seen. You ever see him crying? And it just cuts to his blinds closing in. It's fucking great. And your man from Malcolm in the Middle, whose name we always forget, who had tragically died. Oh. The bald guy. He's the guy with like hooks for hands in Malcolm in the Middle, and we forgot his name last time. I really watched that, to be honest. Oh, it's great. Well, as I remember. Again, if you want to be meta, it makes all the wrong meta statements in the Ed 209, soft as a puppy. And you compare this, I get that it's being kind of parodical, but at the same time, if you don't want to be accused of softening the material,
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that looks awesome. That model was just fantastic.
Yeah, and this was his forced perspective, isn't it? Like it's, yeah. And then they've gone back to the stop motion stuff.
Yeah,
which
so
I like.
I'm going to check. I'm pretty sure Phil Tippett must have returned for this.
Yeah. It's almost like I wish they could find a way to do this in CG now. Do you know what I mean? Recreate that slight jerky movement, but in an organic way that kind of... I don't know. But then that's me trying to pander. CCH pounder to the nostalgia crowd, which is, you know, having decried it, I can't really very well do it.
So, yeah, exactly. Much like Star Wars, it's another corner we've painted ourselves into.
I think there's a way to do all that stuff though, where it's like, you know, yes, there's pandering going on, but it's also like using a modern sensibility. I mean, again, I come back to Rogue One as a recent example of something that managed to sort of capture the model look in the space battles, but yet did them in a modern way and put the camera in places they couldn't do before. That's what I wish they would do with Superman and stuff. It's like you can do all that now without having to go through wireworks, optics, rear projection, all that stuff. You can make it all in one fluid thing, but you can still have the aesthetic, you know, that works so well. But
yeah, I think it's using one thing to augment the other. I think
absolutely.
Because I believe, you know, keeping on Robocop topic, I understand that they use CGI to make his costume a bit slimmer. So,
yeah, like the hips and stuff.
Yeah, so it makes it appear that a human couldn't fit in it. Yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
No, I believe that Phil Tippett did do these stop motion stuff.
Oh, nice.
Okay. I've got to say, actually, now I need to walk something back I've already said. So I said kind of Gary Kibb's cinematography is a bit kind of flat. Watching this again, I think I'm wrong about that. There's more going on than I remember it being really kind of stiff, but there's lots of kind of ins and outs, and it's not a million miles away from kind of what Jos Vakano was doing, but it's I mean, stuff like this. It's okay. I'm going to walk that back. This is nicer than I remember.
Okay.
And I would say this as well. This, you know, he shot They Live. Shares a lot with They Live. It's about underground rebellions and stuff. And the gun room and stuff and secret bases and things.
Yeah, I suppose. Things are quite centre frame, but I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly. One thing I'll say for it is it always has a sense of geography and scale that's quite good. Yeah,
do you know, it's weird because that was a kind of rack-in on the jetpack.
Yeah.
Like, and there's stuff like this. It's still there's something about it that feels a bit bound and cheap in places, and I don't know what that is.
It's boilerplate in the way some of it's come. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, is that production design or is that cinematography? I suppose it's hard to.
I will say this much. So I've got like the big Robocop hardback book, and I've read some things in various places. Say what you like about Fred Decker, and this is recording a Robocop 3 commentary after The Predator came out. But it would appear he made this with the best of intentions and kind of had his dreams crapped on, and he didn't really do a lot for quite some time afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it seems that when he took on the job, he was like, oh yeah, Robocop, and then the reality of what Orion wanted kind of started to unfold in front of him, you know. There's loads of nicely like re-recorded music and variations upon the old themes and stuff. I mean, the score I think is perhaps the strongest thing. And there's the kind of flares on guns.
Yeah,
I believe from what I understand, that's done by shutter speed. And that's something that you see in all the Robocop movies.
Yeah.
Oh, and
he's in Californication as a gay agent who's hilarious.
Is he the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean as well? That's with Mackenzie Crook.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's in an episode of Shane Black's in this scene.
Yeah.
Okay, they have lasers.
It's Christmas as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy. It's that guy.
Yeah, I love that. What's it like being a racket scientist? There's some quotable stuff in this that people forget, like the delusions of grandeur.
Oh yeah, right.
Delusions of grandeur, dumb.
You got a ghost cup. You got a vampire cup.
Yeah.
Hey, get out of here. This is all dirty shitters. Amazon War escalates. Good world building. Amazon War escalates.
I love the way that could actually mean Amazon as in the company.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. It'd be quite funny if in the Robocop remake, Robocop was made by Amazon.
They put that in, yeah.
On a 0 hours contract.
I suppose the trouble is now it's like trying to fit a Robocop into this reality or this current day. It just doesn't, It's just too difficult. Like, they try and make it a military application in the new film, but it's like...
Yeah, I mean, that film's main crime is just being bloody dreary.
Help me out on this, though. There is a new Robocop film being made called Robocop Returns.
By Neil Blomkamp.
And that's the thing. How has that not sort of been massive news? Because it's like, to me, I heard about it very, very sort of third hand on a throwaway thing. And
I did a video about it, thank you very much, on this channel. Before it was this, it was like about 2 weeks before we changed over. I did a video about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He doesn't watch my content. I was really happy with the lighting on that as well.
Again?
Yeah, so where am I? I'll tell you my theory why that's not kind of quite getting the push that it perhaps would.
That you would in a morning movement.
In the morning movement. Is because, he was supposed to be making Alien 5, wasn't he? And that got pushed around. I think it's a sort of once bitten, twice shy, where people are like, yeah, right. Because he's trying to get Peter Weller. Peter Weller won't do Robocop stuff, but unless it's a chicken advert. And now he said, if you throw me the money, I'll do it, because I think it would be like and the news last week was it's going to be the original Robocop suit. And it's like, well, of course it is. It's called Robocop. You've gone out of your way to painfully go, oh, well, it's a...
Because it's the original concept for the second film, right? Which is that he was switched off, deactivated for years. And...
Well, yeah, I mean, that was the broad strokes original concept, and I assume that part of it is going to be... I mean, Neil Blomkamp's a good choice for a Robocop film. Unfortunately, it's 2019 and we've been here before, and it's Terminator Genesis Syndrome, or indeed Terminator Dark Fate Syndrome. Fuck date.
I didn't swear.
Oh, this is the guy from Frankenhooker. I can never remember his name. So,
you can see the ramp there.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is where it all feels like fucking flipping. It's where it all feels like G.I. Joe. You know what I mean? It has this real kind of Saturday morning cartoon vibe to it.
Yeah, the sort of filmmaking isn't that slick, is it?
No, that's the thing. I mean, it's fine. And I will say, I went in straight and said that the cinematography is quite boring. The lighting is, but in terms of the camera movement, I think there's more going on than I perhaps gave it credit for.
There's clever stuff done here with the way that car's driven. It's driven very, accurately. Because like a machine's driving it. I like the way they do that. The way it doesn't, kick the tail out too much or anything like that. It's just,
right, okay.
Efficiently driven, though.
Efficiently driven by the Stig.
Delusions of
There you go. Delusions of Gander. It's the guy from Frankenhooker, and I can't remember his name, but I believe that's a kind of Fred Decker type hookup. Delusions of Gander. Look at that tie. That would be
such a Simpsons character.
That would be my deep cut cosplay.
Yo,
to come out dressed as that guy.
You have to get that exact tie and jacket and everything. You'd have to put it together so accurately.
No half measures.
No.
Yeah, they love racking in this film.
They really do, don't they?
Even
the last shot is a big racking, isn't it?
And I think it's like, you called for backup? And it's like a thing.
I don't like that. That makes it cheap, actually. That sort of racking stuff makes it very cheap.
Yeah, at least there's movement in it, but it feels cheap, and it's just used over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Splatterpunks, man. That's the thing as well. They sort of... Robocop 1's about cocaine dealers.
Yeah.
Robocop 2's about like a religious cult. Yeah. And that's when it's a bit like, hold on a minute. And then now it's about like... Drug, though, isn't it? Yeah, cake is a made-up drug. Yeah. And now it's about kind of comedy punks. Like it's, you know what I mean? It moves... Every day we move further away from God.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel as real when it's kind of silly like that. I don't know.
Similar, there's a guy who... there's one of the characters from Escape from New York looks like... one of the splatterpunks in there. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, the guy who's like out in the street, boulevard streets.
Kind of crazy guy, yeah. Sort of vampiric look. This stuff's quite intimidating and quite well done. Like it's got a quite scary. Again, much like Escape from New York, it's got that vibe to it. Of like this sort of this horrible like you're in total like almost no man's land and
it's just shooting at nothing. Shane Black has quite a lot to do in this.
Yeah. Does he die though? I can't remember.
I don't think so, but I think he doesn't particularly come back. Oh yeah, this has does the first movie have the barcodes on the cars as registrations? So I always love that.
That's a very Back to the Future thing, though, isn't it?
You're very true. I never thought of that. It's a very nice futuristic. Robocop has tinted out windows because he's cool.
Yeah, well, because we don't want to reveal him yet.
Yeah, again. So the character of Cecil the Clerk comes back from Robocop 1, but he's played by someone else.
Oh, right.
There's weird kind of deep cut callbacks. Your job really was to get the rest right, but
Maybe that's a problem with it as well, is that perhaps the sort of the Robocop stuff in this doesn't work so well, but it's like that everything else, well, apart from the robot ninjas and stuff. I mean, all this opening stuff is fine. You know, it's
yeah,
all
it's
good.
just, do you know what? I mentioned this. I can't remember what we were talking. I think we were talking about. I think when we were talking about Spider-Man 3, this is very much one of these ones, and obviously I would have been much younger when I watched this. It's one of these ones where you watch it, you immediately know something's wrong.
Yeah,
It's just so, I mean, look at that. That's great. All the steam, all the fire.
Yeah.
Like, but something ain't right.
This makes no sense as well, that Robocop goes all the way up a multi-storey car park.
Wrecks his own car.
Yeah, to make a big entrance or something. How is that the more efficient way of doing it?
It's his strange kind of, his weird sense of theatrics.
It's like, hold on now. Like, I'm going to drive off the...
So I guess I don't know actually. I'd have to. Oh, there is.
Change of the arms.
Here's the fucking new. And man, were there toys for this?
Oh yeah, I had it.
Yeah, we did. My little brother, I think, had one which I secretly played with, and it was just kind of like, I don't want the freaking robot on.
See, that looks like it's just going to go, like it's tipping.
It's going to go over, isn't it? Yeah. Absolutely is.
Suddenly
it just
lands
drops
like
and sparks come out.
And it's okay.
And why do this kind of Looney Tunes?
Yeah,
I mean, he might as well have dropped a piano on him.
Yeah.
Now, I really like Robert Burke as Robocop. I think he did the best work he could in really rubbish circumstances.
Yeah,
One of the things he talks about is that they told him, so they've done something to it, but they told him they were going to modulate his voice in a certain way.
Right.
And he was like, oh, okay. So how this sounds on the day isn't how it's going to sound. And he talks about sitting in the premiere just going like, oh,
they didn't do it.
I look like an idiot. This is,
bless him, yeah.
I think he looks great as well. He looks really good in the suit. They've put the extra ring because he's taller than...
yeah, they just modified it.
This is the first example of...
Racking? Oh, focus it up, mate.
Dude,
Don't think your focus putting was not good on that. Get another one, mate. Get another one.
This is the first example of someone else being shoehorned into a costume design for Peter Weller that doesn't quite fit them. Yeah. So, it's a hellish thing to wear when it's custom made for you. Robert Burke described it was just even worse when it's designed for another man. And then we've seen what happened when bloody, what's his name, wears it in Robocop Prime Directives. What's his name? Paige Fletcher.
Paige, that's it.
So this, the function of this was... the point in this was burn his face, yeah.
Which they sort of do. I mean, he's covered in sort of, but then they never say it.
It looks like he's been shot by a blunderbuss by a cartoon character. Yeah, that kind of Wile E. Coyote.
It doesn't hold up that because it's like, do you really want to draw attention to the fact this is a different actor?
You're best off just not.
Just don't. Yeah.
We've rebuilt your face, Robocop. I tell you what though, it's pretty audacious to do because that costume is a hell of a thing, and to do a full body burn in that costume, bloody dangerous. That breaks before he walks through.
Yeah, I know.
Which to be fair,
you have to do, but
that's the thing that happens in Robocop 1. Like when he throws Clarence, you see it.
But that's just how those stunts are done. They have, do you know how they work? They do that. They put little
little charges, isn't it?
Little charges, but what the charges do is actually make a little hammer go against the window. So it's explosive, but they put it in the corners so it shatters all at once. Because that's why it never makes any sense. Because it wouldn't all break in one uniform way, would it?
The whole window just flat.
Yeah. What's I can't remember what the film is. It's one of those. I think it's a Chinese martial arts film where the guy there's a motorbike driving at him and he's running away from it. And he does like a backflip in slow motion off a window. And then, as he's coming around, kicks the rider through the window, and they have to. And that's a timing thing. So it's like literally they have to set the charge off as soon as his feet leave the glass, so it explodes just as the bike goes through. It's an amazing stunt. Because there's no way you could do it like otherwise. Like the guy has to run up the glass first, and then the bike. It's like the timing.
I love those. You get it in John Woo films. It's sort of like, is this a snuff film? Did someone die?
Because I mean, a lot of Jackie Chan's early stuff was like that, wasn't it?
Dude, we get those end credit sequences. I think like Rumble in the Bronx, he breaks his foot, and then the next thing you see him do a stunt, and he pulls up his trousers, and it's a cast with a sock on it, made to look like that.
Yeah.
I would say, look, I'm looking for the positives in this.
Good.
He looks, the burn effect, the charred effect on him, that looks like what that would look like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess that's kind of Roboteam stuff. Like it looks.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, one of the things is having the little kid perspective character is one of those kind of things where it's like, what are you doing? You're aiming this at little kids. Like, what the fuck?
What the?
Oh God, sorry. Mako's great.
I sound like your dad, don't I?
You should do because it gets us demonetized. But Mako just had this amazing kind of presence and just this voice. Even when he's not speaking English, and it's just like I would be afraid of him.
What's the actor's name?
We're not hosting an intergalactic. No, mate.
No. The guy. What's his name? He was in Big Trouble. He's the bad Chow Young.
David. James Hong.
James Hong. Thank you. That's what I'm thinking. He had the most
James
distinctive.
Hong.
It was like, "Hey, I'm going to get you." Like he always had that great.
He is also. I referred to Kevin Conroy as an international treasure. James Hong is
Definitely
an international treasure.
Yeah.
Someone did there was a parody of Gangnam Style, and that is not a good way to start any descriptive sentence, called David Lopan Style, which is David Lopan doing gangbang style. But halfway through, James Hong comes out and starts dancing in the video, and I was like, do you know what? I suddenly love this.
Yeah, amazing. I like this new sort of OCP boardroom. Looks really good.
Yeah, it's the strange kind of, I've talked about this before, it's the strange transplantation of Robocop, because each one was filmed in a different city, so they all kind of look different. And this one is no exception. So yeah, they're in there, and I'm guessing that Daniel O'Harely just didn't want to come back for this, which is why we suddenly got Rip Torn.
Yeah.
Rip Torn's really good in this as well, like given the material.
Yeah. He's a very comedic interpretation of it.
So we've got Felton Perry there back.
Yeah.
And bless him, he's a good mainstay of this series. And also, you can sort of, the strange kind of, if you want to cut Robocop in half and count the rings, it's the sort of the low-key ascendancy of his character through the ranks. Yeah. Bradley Whitford there from most famously, I suppose, at the moment, Get Out.
Yes, of course, but also, wasn't it
The West Wing
Spin
as well?
City? Oh, it was the West Wing.
It was the West Wing, yeah.
West Wing.
So he's a great actor. He's again. I'm finding a lot of positives this time around. I don't know what's wrong with me, but just go because this
because you're not allowed to swear.
Because I'm not allowed to swear. Yeah, this film sucks, right? And watching it is a chore.
Yeah.
So if you can talk about it, because he does a thing where, like, they have all the people committing suicide, and when he gets fired, he just walks out, opens his jacket, pulls out the pistol, looks at it, and walks off.
Yeah, that's
and it's
right.
just like, oh my god.
Yeah. This guy, I think the more dramatic moments have really not handled that well. Like this guy, he's like, you stupid slag, and all that stuff. It's just like,
another bloody rack in. So this is John Castle, who's kind of British character actor guy. He was just in a couple of years ago, did like an M.R. James adaptation for the BBC.
British Steve Martin, in a way.
It's like the sort of, but like really serious,
but not funny.
This is like sort of
unintentional. Rack out. There we go.
Oh wow! Look, they're really mixing things up. I love this. So the guy who plays the ninjas is called Bruce Locke. He's an American actor.
Okay.
I think it was a couple of days ago. He had a Facebook post about he got really friendly with Rip Torn.
Really?
Like I can't remember what it was. Basically, when they first did a scene together, like Rip Torn really mugged him off, and he was like, "What's all this about?" And then he went to his trailer, and they had a little chat, and then they become like really good friends. And yeah, it's really sweet. This is this. Right, so the robots are called Atomo, right? And I believe Frank Miller named those after Atomo, Katsuhiro Otomo, I think is the guy who did Akira. It's like a manga artist. Yeah, so he named them after that. Yeah. So Robert Duquy back as Sergeant Reed. I love the comedy sort of
transgender.
And the massive lollipop.
No explanation to it really whatsoever. It's just like,
see Again, completely different police station.
Yeah.
And this police station feels so much like a set. And they're doing one long take, like in Robocop 1. They're replicating that thing. But do you know what? This is what I'm talking about. The lighting here is so flat and it feels like a set. It doesn't feel... Because like Robocop, the first Robocop, when they do that, there was a kind of like a stink in the air. There's some kind of quality to it.
Yeah. Like here, it's all very clean. I mean, that's my problem with it. Like, whereas this is all the same makeup by the same people. And it's technically wonderful, but it just doesn't have the same. It's too sort of bright, and I'm sure it is the lighting. I'm sure you're absolutely right. I think it is just the way it's lit and covered.
It just adds to the feeling that it's all kind of sanitized.
Yeah, it's too overly exposed. It's like in the first one, obviously he's in a. I mean, I have to say this, in the second one when he's got the helmet off, it does feel a bit plasticky and a bit not quite.
It's a bit. I don't know what film stock was used for Robocop, but Robocop is hella grainy.
Yeah.
Like if you watch I've got the. It's not an ultra it's a 4K transfer down to 1080p. It's not a 4K Blu-ray, but
yeah,
you know, that was the first time I saw that in a kind of sharp as hell, because I got a brick.
So you
I
can
imported that.
the black velvet under the tights that he's wearing.
Shh, quiet, Duncan, quiet.
Yeah,
Be quiet.
That kind of ruined it a bit for me. That once I noticed all that, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's one of these things that was very kind of seamless for the longest time, wasn't it? I mean, and that's the kind of thing, like right now, this is what I'm talking about. You build that costume and then you CGI.
Yeah.
Because right now that would be a green stocking.
Instead,
and you could still do that now. Like,
absolutely, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want him to be too, you know, like clearly robot-y, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know why there's something about it actually being a guy, and I think, although certainly not as far
but
as
it's just that
remake black suit
bit of
thing
polish you
was-
can add on. Yeah, and then they put him in the silver suit.
so
at the end
rubbery.
for reshoots. I didn't mind that redesign, the silver one.
No.
But it's still kind of like, look,
It's pointless, though. It's all
well, yeah, and you're not really making a Robocop film,
No.
you know. And this is, you know,
To sort of pave over the cracks, I think you're absolutely right. You could just do that little bit of extra embellishment.
Because look at my little robo room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. He just sits there blinking.
Yeah.
He definitely doesn't have. It's like when Peter Weller's face is revealed as Robocop, he has this kind of constant frown.
Yeah, it's like he's
He's
sort of been
constantly
frozen
kind
in a certain
yeah,
facial
his
expression.
brow is, and Burke with the helmet off, it's just he does this thing where he just stares into space and blinks, and it's good robot acting. But you
Yeah.
need to kind of remember the fact that he's increasingly human. I think that's.
Well, this is what I think I don't like. But bearing in mind, at the end of the first one, we land on "You can call me Murphy," and in this one, we end on "You can call me Robocop." It's like, what are you saying? That he goes back, like,
Yeah.
you know?
And you know, like I think we talked about this before. Like Robocop 2 just undoes all of that straight away, and he goes like, "No, you're a robot. Screw you." And then he ends the film by going like, "We're only human," and it's kind of like, well, they put you back into Robocop mode for this film, so you could go around doing Robocop things, and then you kind of
I do think that I do give him a slight more like that having the scene with his wife. For me, is that although it's not talked about, I think the implication is that it's like he has to just choose to be Robocop.
he has to let her go.
Yeah.
And
And
as
it's
we
like-
said before, that is a wonderful scene with just brilliant acting from him.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just redoing Robocop 1, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
when he's kind of judders when they go for his memories. I think the guy from the donut shop is the dad from the Goldbergs.
All right.
I
Okay.
don't watch the Goldbergs,
Neither
but
do
I
I.
like. Yeah, I think it's him. And wasn't he in like Curb Your Enthusiasm or something? Someone will correct me.
I think I've watched this film an inhumanly number of times. I just really can't watch this ever again.
I
in my life.
I know what you mean.
It's just so
I know what
phenomenal.
you mean. There's so little to be gained. Apart from this, I mean, I'm gonna view this as closing the book on it. And
Yeah.
since my previous versions are going to get deleted sooner or later, I might as well have my own one out there, my own take.
Fine, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Oh, we're going to end up doing the others, aren't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, sooner or later, that's it. Do you know what? The sooner he deletes them, the sooner we can do our own. So whatever. Oh, in fact, I think our Robocop 1 has been done or deleted. I need to check.
Right.
So there you go.
Well, no.
There you go.
Right.
We started with the best one, and then we're going to do the remake next, and then we're going to redo all of Robocop Prime Directives.
No.
So look, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Cecil, the clerk.
Okay.
You know, who comes and takes the tag off of Murphy's, the locker and stuff.
Oh, right, yeah.
Not Murphy's locker, it's Frank. Good luck, Frank. I can't remember the character's name. That's
Okay.
been murdered. And this is kind of this is what happens. Well, they're going to wipe his memories and such. It's what that's the wiping his memories and turning him into robot. That's the thing the remake chose to use.
Yeah.
They looked back at all the Robocop stuff and went, you know what?
of all the things to draw on. Well, like I say, that what told me that film wasn't going to work was in the trailer when it's like he just remembered who he was. Like that's you've just totally missed
Well,
it.
it's just he's trying to solve his own murder, and it's like, hold on. But he's not dead. You specifically said he isn't dead, so why are you?
Yeah.
And just him not having any quest for identity whatsoever, which is kind of the backbone of that film, really. And I realise you're remaking it, do something different, but make your own film. If you want to do a kind of drone warfare allegory, well, firstly, just get Neil Blomkamp to do it, and secondly, perhaps kind of think, why? Well, I know why you're tagging Robocop to it, so you can make money. Lots of things are out of focus in here.
Yeah, they really are. I'd say I don't have a problem, obviously, with people making money. That's
Ignore that.
That's that has to happen because obviously it's an industry and people have to be employed and they have to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it's when the cart is before the horse and it's like you want to make money for the wrong reasons, I just think that's unforgivable, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, it's like I understand like the filmmaking team involved in all this stuff. Like that's not up to them, and it's not, and it's even with the money people, it's not, I understand they things have to coalesce in an almost organic way for a film to be very good, creatively and critically and also, commercially. There's an awful lot that has to come into play, and it's like I get that, and it's not actually in any one person's control, really. I mean, it's some of it is, but you know what I mean. It's like it's not really. So it's very hard to just blame the studio, the executives. Like, well,
people love to blame the director as well. I find that a bit disingenuous. So it's kind of like, this is this person's fault. Like again, Jose Padilla has made some really great movies, and that's the one thing that sort of gave me a 11th hour bit of encouragement for that remake. But because he's made some really great stuff, but then he clearly wasn't in control of that. The director's job on a picture like that is to, essentially manage the team. It's not really a creative thing like it would be on a smaller film, or if you're bloody Stanley Kubrick or whatever. See that motion, that was fantastic. The gun pull, really good.
He's very good at the sort of not jerky, but the kind of
the robotic
stopping.
Stuff. He looks great.
Yeah,
because I think people like to rag on him, and I don't think it's fair. And
no, absolutely,
he's definitely the second best Robocop, which sounds like damning with faint praise, but like he's easily the second best Robocop.
I would, I think it's the situations they put him in the script he's got is the weak part. I'd certainly think Robert John Burke, especially as well. Like you don't forget, he's having to step into someone else's shoes, quite literally in this case. But it's like he has to play that version of the character. He can't create his own thing. So it's like I totally get it. Like it's not easy.
And it is an absolutely poison chalice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, in Playground Rumours. So this was made and sat on the shelf for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So like you'd get odd things about it in magazines. We knew it existed, and it was like, holy cow, Robocop. We love Robocop. New Robocop. Everyone got wind of the fact that Lewis died. And then the rumour just spread that she gets turned into a lady Robocop. Yeah. It's just like, kids make sense, all believed it. Unfortunately, the makers of Terminator 3 decided that was a good route and just went, let's do a lady one.
Wasn't that, that was also a thing talked about at the end of the first Robocop, wasn't it? Because he's like, they'll fix you.
They fix everything.
And it's like, isn't that the implication that...
Can you imagine if that film had this like really tacky thing where she came out as a pink Robocop with like flame decals? Boobs, yeah.
Flame decal.
Nancy Allen and a powerful mullet. Fuck you, John Castle. God damn it. Okay, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Up yours, John Castle.
Up yours, John Castle. Can't believe you killed Lewis.
John
Castle of Mars.
You slag.
Yeah. So I think that's now never oppose an OCP officer. This is the first time you see that in text, I believe.
Okay.
So I think the first time it just says classified, and then, Dick Jones is like, you're forbidden to act against an officer of this company, and but whereas they actually kind of put it in text, just trivia. You like trivia, don't you?
There are certain situations you don't want to put Robocop in, and one of them is crawling along the floor. Well, actually, no, that's not true, because they do a great job of it in the first one, so that's not true.
The way Ed Newmeyer phrased it is you don't want to see Robocop riding a bicycle.
Yeah, which is exactly what happens in the second one. Because the trouble is, whenever you cut to a stunt rider or a stunt driver, which you see in this as well, when they have to handle a car and they want it to spin around the corner, to hang the back out, that involves a lot of very quick arm movement. And it's like, it doesn't look right in the Robocop.
You get those weird long shots where he's... And again, like, particularly Peter Weller, someone who did all this insane preparation.
Yeah.
Like, no detriment to the stunt artists, but that's not their job. So suddenly they're in a bloody costume riding around on a motorbike, and they have to safely ride a motorbike. They're not interested in bloody Juilliard or studying movements of birds. Look at this, the spotlight on him, and they do the whole kind of Christ stuff. This is very Zack Snyder's Robocop,
American
isn't it?
Jesus, yeah.
American Jesus.
But yeah, there's that shot in Robocop 2 when he's like, he takes off on the bike after someone's been knocked over, and he looks back really quickly, and it's like, well, Robocop, why doesn't he look quickly all the time?
Stunt rider trying to be safe on a bloody bike. Again, the damage, barrel damage Robocop. The chest piece looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, I don't know, this kind of killing her off in the first act as well. I mean, I can't remember. I have seen Nancy Allen talking about this, and I can't remember exactly what she says, but I feel like
she's slightly hamming it up here. To be honest, I don't think she's fully engaged. Man,
absolutely, I wouldn't blame her. She's all of a sudden doing a bloody kids movie.
Yeah,
and this is a classic example of this kind of stuff where they've kind of made it a kids movie, but they've made it too violent, so they then aren't going to get the kids certificate. You're going to have to end up putting in I guess this is like a soft R in the States. I don't know how that works. I assume it's PG-13 or something. It's 15 here, so kids can't see it. Well, middle teenagers can see it.
Yeah,
but they don't. Ironically, the kids don't want this. The kids want the blood and guts. That's why they like the original ones.
Quite, yeah.
Because kids are awful little ghouls, or at least I was, and I'm sure you were as well.
Absolutely,
absolutely. Yeah.
See, that's a nice shot. It's a great. Again, it's like the Alien. Actually, when you show him looking down like that, it looks so good. When the mouth and the chin are all kind of reduced because there's much more of the top of it. It has a really nice sleek kind of.
Yeah, and it is like the dome on the Alien, isn't it?
Yeah, well, and the Alien. I was thinking that shot of the Alien looking at Jones in his carrier in the first Alien movie. It's like that just because it's sort of condensed then into one. Because you're looking at it from that angle, it looks like with a pointy chin in the Richter's grin. It looks great. It looks absolutely horrible. Whereas, otherwise, like flat on, it's kind of.
Yeah, well, like we discussed, there are certain moments that he's shared his location on WhatsApp. There are certain moments where, in Alien, where that suit is covered in a way that does not look good.
Yeah.
There are moments in there that just don't look great. But then other things, like you say, particularly when all the kind of vapours coming off it and stuff, and it's dripping, that's really cool. It's quite interesting that this kind of the kind of Catholic sort of stuff running through the original Robocop, because it's only Robocop 2 that specifically says he's a Catholic, but there's like a Catholic vibe to Robocop 1.
Yeah.
It's all kind of about the self-flagellating kind of horrors of Christianity instead of the kind of soft touch stuff and imagery of hell and purgatory and whatever. Whereas this, he just goes in a church. There's a spot. He goes in a church, mate.
Yeah, well, I mean, showing him walking on water on the first one, all that, it's all, it's not.
Well, it's coded and everything, and it's kind of there, and the shell sign saying hell and flames and things, and obviously the concept of resurrection and everything.
Quite, yeah.
But in this one, he's friends with a kid and has a jetpack. Hey, kids, you like toys? I mean, Robocop does not shoot anyone in the dick in this film. It's interesting as well because it talks about this different film stocks, the costume photographs in different ways, and I believe like the kind of on-set costume looked kind of green to make it look kind of bluey chromey. In this one goes back to the look of the first one, whereas Robocop 2 is like super blue, like it's crazy blue. This one's a bit more kind of like the original. See, like that, like they wouldn't be able to pick him up, right? Like,
no.
Robocop 2, they have to sort of get the blankets, and it takes like 10 of them to carry them.
Yeah.
But there it's just sort of like...
That's a thing that a question that didn't need answering about the Terminator.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like in the first two films, it's not really explained that, because bearing in mind all that metal work, you see it's like weighing absolute ton. If it's made of steel, I mean, you don't really know what it's made. It's just what does he call it?
It's titanium.
Titanium alloy combat chassis, which is should be quite light relatively, but it's still
just like me.
Yeah,
it's like me and my rod
after my morning movement.
But sorry, I said just me and I mean the rod in my leg. I wasn't talking about my dick.
Oh, I see.
It's just like I made it sound me and my rod. No, I'm not.
But it's come Terminator 3, obviously, like they can't lift him and stuff like that. And so it begs too many questions. Like why when he gets in a car, doesn't it like?
The suspension would just dong. Could he go in a lift because it's too heavy?
How did he ride the bike off that thing into the LA River and not completely destroy it? Like,
I kind of
do that anyway. But
look, Stephen Rick just so overbakes this. Like it's so overbaked.
Yeah, but somehow he gets away with it. I always think he gets away with it. Like, he plays these crazy over-the-top characters, but he always gets away with it.
I love him. Did you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
No.
Oh, he was like Boyle's dad in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It was brilliant. He was just the best choice for that.
I just love him in all the Coen Brothers stuff that he's been.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, in Dodgeball as well. He's had this insane kind of low-key career. Oh, should we rack in? Let's rack in some more.
You know what we haven't had for 5 seconds? Rack in.
I will. It's funny, isn't it? I don't know what it is. Again, these shots have loads of depth. This is like a huge, I assume, location rather than a set. But it somehow still looks cheap. And I think it's the kind of flat lighting. I don't know what it is. There's something that does have, that it shares with They Live. There are lots of kind of pink highlights in certain scenes. Doesn't happen a lot, but like They Live is all about the pink highlights.
Fair enough.
Look at our iPad. It's enormous. Hold on, it's in portrait mode.
Sorry, I should have docking station.
Dunk!
Yeah.
Channel 378.
That docking station better also make your dinner because it's massive.
Gives you bloody scoliosis getting out of the box.
Yeah.
Like, jeez.
Well saved.
How did you notice? Yeah, how did you notice? You just know my... Rack in, let's rack in, quick. Rack in on that as well. Yep, there you go.
It kind of does.
I suppose that's TV news, I guess.
That picture actually they had in the for their
Like the silhouette.
Yeah, the silhouette thing was quite reminiscent of some of those wackier Robocop comics, wasn't it?
Oh God, yeah. Ironically, Alan Grant, who co-wrote Judge Dredd, ended up writing Robocop comics, despite how aggrieved they were about how much Robocop ripped off of Judge Dredd. That's right, I got there. Got there at about 45 minutes. Got to Judge Dredd. Maybe. Yeah, here we go. There's nice. It's not as good as the original, but there's kind of matte paintings. This is Atlanta. So I can't remember the first one was Dallas. I think the second was somewhere else in Texas, and then this one's Atlanta. So Atlanta, by the way, well, Georgia. Man, everything's filmed in Georgia now. Get that little peach logo at the end of every show and movie, like the Marvel stuff, Walking Dead.
Well, because there's lots of it's a sort of big, wide open space. I mean, I think there's a lot of moves to get production out of.
I believe there are tax incentives and such for theirs. Often the case. So this is. This kind of Wall Street
full bore like launches.
Do you not get the reverse? Yeah. So there's kind of there you go. So weirdly, this building looks kind of like the OCP building from the first one, but isn't that kind of leaning? Which is like that was the Dallas Civic Center or something that they extended through mats.
Right.
And this is something that looks kind of similar. I do Bruce Locke. I love his whole. It's weird because he does. So his thing is like to be blank, right?
Yeah.
And he's very imposing, and I like his kind of presence and stuff. And he's dressed in a cool way. But when he gets his face smashed, he just turns into a Joker grin, which is something he didn't do at all.
Well, and
the rest of his performance.
The jaw thing that's like, all right. Well, why would it do that? Like,
that needs a kind of swanny whistle sort of thing. See, Rip. The world's worse off without Rip Torn. Eh?
Yeah,
like he's great in this.
What did he say earlier when he's like, "And they won't leave" or whatever? Like, he literally throws a sudden like paddy.
I can't remember. You've gone wall wacky, McDuggett.
Yeah, wall wacky. The only reason I remember that is because Will Smith does it. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, this character feels a hell of a lot like Zed, right? Like, quick rack in there, guys. How are we going to... we got a big dialogue. How are we going to cover it? Should we... Just rack in, mate. Just rack
Probably
in.
Like that, you know that...
Look. He just looks at the gun. It's bloody horrible. It walks off.
That looked like a stunt pistol.
It really did. It looked like it's made of licorice, didn't
it? What's that anecdote about? Like a lot of grips will tell you about, where it's like if they get there on the day and it's like there isn't a plan for the day. There's like, we'll just lay some dolly. Like laying dolly was like code for bugger about for an hour because we'd no one knows what they're doing.
Nothing to do.
That was off Jaws or something, wasn't it? That was the thing they said on Jaws, and it's like on this you can see. I guess that's why there's so many rackets, because they're like, we'll just put some dolly there.
Dolly everywhere.
like a model railway around that place.
Oh man, I used to love that because we had dolly tracks at our uni that you could take out, which is great because you could, proper ones, yeah. And whenever you set it up, it felt like you were building a roller coaster. It's like Roller Coaster Tycoon, you know.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, this is a great...
That's a great callback.
Yeah, and it's an amazing location. I mean, all of these films have the kind of, you know, the Motor City kind of abandoned location vibe. I guess they must have fabricated that sign to put on there, unless they actually went to Detroit to get that exterior. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, 22 million in 1991 money, you know. Whatever. Yeah, so I think the turnaround between Robocop 2 and Robocop 3 was pretty quick. Then the bloody thing sat on the shelf for ages. I might have fudged the date slightly there.
Because Robocop 2 is what, 90?
It came out in 1990, yeah. So I don't know if they were filming that in 89. I don't know.
I guess so.
But
yeah, it's remarkable how close they are together. Because obviously, barring things like the Marvel movies, it's like we're not really used to sequels in series coming out that often.
yeah, and I think it was a gambit. But I believe the situation was Orion knew they were in trouble when Robocop was their money spinner. So they sort of went into production to try and get a bit of dosh. Is that a big hammock, or is that to protect from rain? Because it's indoors.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a hole in the roof. Look at that laptop. Look at that iPad Pro in a docking station. Crumbs.
That you could choke a donkey to death with.
That's as big as her, bless her. I think she still works, the kid. I'm not sure. She's not a kid now. She's an adult. Robocop must have some serious grip on those feet, because otherwise he'd be sliding around like if it's just a shiny titanium.
Well, yeah, that's exactly, yeah. Yeah, very good point.
I like how he refers to it as a kind of, you know, not a definitive article. He's like, I don't know how to fix a damn Robocop. Alex, see, I think you see the guy with the burgundy hat? I think the logo for the motor company is the same one on this factory.
Oh, okay.
So maybe they're saying that he used to work for this company before Detroit went to crap. It's
a nice little touch.
Yeah. Like he's wearing lip gloss.
yeah. That the makeup department. But I don't know why they do that. Like, when you have checks and stuff like that, they put like gloss on your lips. It's like, it's just stop them from going dry. It's like, yeah, but they're not dry.
Yeah, right.
Now they look shiny.
We for our school plays, the teachers used to, in primary school, used to put makeup on all of us, and it's like, is that really necessary? And it's not like they do a good job. They're not makeup artists, your primary school teachers.
Yeah.
So we must have just looked like this weird miniaturized drag act that specialises in Bible stories. It's the only.
The worst thing is sweat spray. That's the glycerin sweat spray.
I've never been subjected to that. It looks absolutely gross.
It obviously just sits there and doesn't come off. It's just like, oh, it's horrible.
Big frizzy hair.
High-waisted pants.
High-waisted pants, yeah. It looks like James Stewart, like suit.
Oh no! Where's Robocop?
So who would we actually recast as in Robocop? Where would we put him?
Jimmy Stewart.
It'd be great if it was Buffy. That'd be really good.
Yeah.
He's good.
Dead or alive? You're coming with me.
Oh, I feel them, but I can't remember them. He's got a bloody bayonet. Now, this is the guy. This guy with the bayonet. He's the dude. He's the coach of the Little League team that gets shot in.
Oh, so he is.
Yeah. You're eating Miranda to a corpse.
Yeah. Apparently not.
No, this is his twin brother. Bloody bayonet, mate, on a musket. Like,
yeah,
I know it's a guerrilla war and everything, but like, come on. He's in like Bruce Locke as well. He's in mad shape. You seen him with his shirt off earlier. Like,
yeah.
I quite like his costume actually, but it's just the whole.
It's a bit Jedi though, isn't
it? Yeah, I suppose it's Luke Skywalker because this is before they got into the Jedi. The Shredder, yeah. It's
Master Shredder.
It wasn't Mako was he not the voice of Splinter?
I hate this so much.
Oh, that looks horrible.
Was he?
Why is he smiling? That's the thing. He never smiles, and it's like he does this kind of grin.
Yeah.
And then I guess they worked on that for the cracked face because it looks like a different bloody guy as well. Like,
giant jaw.
Eyes are different as well, and it's like, is that the same bloody actor? Was Mako Splinter in the? Do you remember the animated Turtles movie with like Sarah Michelle Gellar and Patrick Stewart and stuff? Remember that? It came out in the cinemas. It was all right. I only watched it once. It was quite good. It was like 2000, like 2007 or something.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, not like recent.
TMNT or whatever.
TMNT, yeah, that was all right, I seem to remember.
The acronym.
Yeah. I'm just going to look that up because I know someone's going to be like, someone's going to
Do your research.
Yeah, do your research. Yeah, it was in TMNT. I think it's one of his last things.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought so. I bloody knew it.
There's a move, I think it's after he's had his helmet taken off, that he does that's very revealing of the costume, and B. Oh, it's when he picks up when he gets ready to leave, he picks up his helmet and the
and the gun, yeah.
And the way he sort of moves, the way the whole costume, it just all falls apart. Like, it's like the curtain is lifted all of a sudden, and it's like, oh. And that's not his fault. That is absolutely not his fault or the filmmaker's fault at all. It's just one of those that clearly they didn't have time. They just had to rush these things out. I'm not laying that at the feet of anyone, because I've learned, over the years, it's very easy to criticise. Fun too. But
is that the best vehicle to turn up to the secret base in? No wonder they're all pointing freaking guns at you.
True.
Sorry.
But, it's very easy to criticise and find flaws in these things, but it's like, I know what it's like making a film, and I know it's not easy, and I know it's uncomfortable, and it's rushed, and it's hurried, and it's like, you don't always have the luxury of just going again till you get it. I understand all that. So, when I say all this stuff and I point it out, I don't say it with a kind of...
I think that the reality of being on a film set is... Yeah, it's not what you expect. There's a hell of a lot of waiting around. It's people doing their jobs, and like the amount, even like the stuff I've done prop works on, it's been kind of okay. British films, like proper films, like not kind of zero budget stuff, and there are hundreds of people doing all kinds of different jobs, like all kind of shit stuff they have to get up with. And there's this idea that this kind of romantic idea that there's just this director at the front, like running things and getting it all going off, and it's like, man, you're going to speak to like producers and stuff most of the time, and kind of art directors and stuff like that. You're not going to be just sitting on the director's lap whilst they stroke your hair and tell you what your performance should be like.
No, absolutely not. And it's a nebulous thing in a way, being a director, because it's like, obviously we know what it means. It ultimately is that you're kind of responsible for how it turns out, basically. In terms of, I think people think a director sits there and goes, action, cut, and just basically does everything and maybe even films it a bit. And, it's like, no, you have a first AD who will call action. Yeah, usually. And
you can get into trouble on union stuff if you cross over on those kind of roles.
I mean, in theory, that's why they have those lenses on a stick, so they can look down them, because in theory, they're not supposed to look down the camera lens, because that's the purview of the camera team and the DP.
So whole call back to Robocop 1 and 2 with the perspective scene.
Yeah.
Actual stock footage here. They do this weird this strange hero of the women in your life. I don't know what this is all about. It's nice to get a cameo for his wife again, and that actor comes back to film smiling down the camera. But why they need to do, your wife was replaced by Lewis, and Lewis is replaced by Dr. Lady, and morphing technology exists, so we're going to do that now. Yeah, remember when this morphing technology became a thing, it was in everything. Right?
Yeah.
So you've got this whole lawnmower man sequence.
I was just going to say lawnmower man.
See that?
I am the Eggman. See,
he really is the Eggman.
Again, not his fault, but it's like you're showing it too brightly lit.
It's too clean, right? Yeah. You can see how all the veins and stuff are drawn on.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong, it's a great makeup job, but it's just
Rob Bottin, man, it's just film. This one, there's loads of camera movement, there's loads of depth, but so much of it is flat, and it gives it that kind of slightly TV-ish.
Makes me wonder if there was going to be some sort of colour correction in post or something. I don't know.
One thing that, since you mentioned that again, and it's like modulating Robert Burke's voice, there was a lot of stuff that was supposed to happen that didn't, and they just kind of rushed through, and because they just wanted to get it out, so they wanted to make money, and it ended up, I think it made 10 or 11 million against a $22 million budget.
Right.
Which is, it ain't great.
No.
There's kind of, I think him having a paternal relationship with the child is valid, because he's had to have these kind of surrogate families, because, and he was a father and stuff.
Oh, I'll tell you what it is that I don't like about it. It's when he moves, you can see all the seams in it, that's a neck piece, the back bit's a different piece, right. You can see through it all and stuff. And it's like, don't make him move too much in that, because obviously the pistons don't move up and down. And
you can kind of tell this sort of rubber. He's doing great,
he is wonderful. He is. And they're all, again, like I say, it's not, I don't blame anyone really for that. In particular, it's just an unfortunate upshot of all this.
I think I've been kind of, so I was slightly dazzled by the amount of movement in this when it started. What you realise as the film wears on, bloody rack in again. It's all the same movements.
Right.
It's a very small bag of tricks, so it's loads of racks. But then so many of the setups are really basic. So, you know, that one of the little girl just now, centre of the frame. Right, centre of the frame, lit. It's kind of key light, backlight. Probably.
Maybe they thought they were going straight to video. I don't know.
It has that kind of feel, doesn't it? And I think it did in this country. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think it got theatrical on stage. I'm certain it kind of crashed straight to video. And then even as a kid, you know that straight to video ain't good.
Yeah, you see at the corner of his jaw where like the black cloth is.
Yeah, because it's like a different shaped head in the same costume.
They've obviously made him a little extra neck piece, but it's not doing its job.
Yeah.
And also it's covered wrong. It's like, don't have him turn his head away from camera when you're looking at it that way. And
it's the thing. A lot of that stuff they had to learn as they went on the first one, you know, because they were kind of writing the rule book for this. I was kind of slightly surprised.
I like that though. That, again, like you say, nice movement, great sort of performance there from him.
And he's not sure of that.
Yeah, exactly.
You
read it all from what he's doing. He's actually doing nothing. He's very economical with his performance. He's very well done. But like you say, it's you know exactly what he's thinking. Even though look there, he doesn't really do anything.
Yeah,
but it's just enough.
And you know, he was a father.
Yeah,
you know, it's he's kind of claiming that back a bit. It's there's a lot of positivity in this, to be honest.
Definitely.
You know, people might be annoyed that we're not. It sucks, all right.
Well, that's a given.
It
like
sucks.
we know
the
film
film sucks. Yeah, you know that. You don't.
What do you want us to dogpile on all the filmmakers? It's like that's not how this works.
Internet's got you covered for that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You know, like it sucks. It's boring. It's dumb. It's childish. You know, whatever. Oh yeah, he ninjas down the sign, doesn't he?
That's right. And it does that typical, like, stays there hovering for a while and then falls down.
This feels super TV-ish, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I love, it's so fun, isn't it? Like, the fact that a robot would need a map and not just have it in its brain. And I'm not putting that as a deficit of the film, it's just because we just didn't know. Yeah. So it's sort of like the Robocop tracking device now is like, yeah, we've got those, man. Everyone could do that. You sent me your live location when you were stuck in traffic yesterday.
Yeah. Well, they'd all have GPS.
I can't predict the future. I don't know. You know, I'm not slagging on that because Robocop 1's full of that stuff as well. It's like, you know, Robocop has to be tracked with a big box and things like that.
But I mean, there's things like that though as well. It's just like great as a gag, but why would he like be going around drawing attention to himself like that?
Yeah,
you know, it's the same thing with sort of Terminator doing certain things. It's just like, why would you do that?
No, you need to kind of lay low. I think one thing, you know, any kind of story now where people go missing or go on the lam needs so much. You're best setting those in the past because now it's like, well, this is pervasive. It's everywhere.
Did you see that program? I think it was Channel 4 did where it was like they had a head start or whatever.
Yeah, what was it? But the old one or the new one?
I'm only talking about, I think, the old one.
Because I think they've done a new thing of that same person. Yeah, was that called Lost before Lost? It was like you had to...
No, it wasn't. I mean, it's a recent thing.
There was one like 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you have to escape the people that are chasing you down or whatever. And
I forget what it's called, but it's like, they have, and they're just ordinary people, and they, you know, obviously surrender all their mobile phones and everything, and it's like they have to see if they can survive for like 90 days or something. Jesus. Like in the wilderness, and some of them are like just took off into the, you know, basically I think the smart play initially is to grab a tent if you've got one, like take out as much cash as you can from the cash point that's near your house anyway, and then just hitch your ride out into the countryside, pitch your tent, and somehow survive for 90 days. Because that's the only way you're going to do it. Because otherwise, if you need money or you need resources, like you're going to have to show up somewhere where there's CCTV, and you're going to have to buy things.
I'd end up getting I'd get caught getting a phone and streaming porn on 4G. that's how they find me. Because, you know, there's only so many.
Look at this. Look. Oh, you can see his neck through all the plastic and stuff. And, like, there, like, it's just bad. Yeah,
it's too superhero-y, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is the thing, you know, they're little kids, they give him the ability to fly, they make him into a superhero.
Yeah.
Unfinished business. They great music there, the Robocop theme.
Yeah.
A slightly low, kind of downbeat version of the Robocop theme. The jetpack, like I touched on earlier, is designed, I believe, by Rob Bottin, and it's stupid, but it shares the Robocop aesthetic.
Yeah.
You know, it looks it's part of him.
It's on brand.
The gun arm as well is like on brand. It's just a stupid idea, well realised, you know.
Yeah.
And again, it turns him into a superhero.
Well, and it's like, is that really useful to have giant ordnance instead of a left hand? Like,
well, indeed, yeah. As soon as you have to do any typing, he's buggered.
Yeah. And how do you reload it?
Yeah, well, where does Robocop get the extra clips to his handgun?
You must have seen the explanatory thing where it's like there's inside him is like some sort of fireproof jacket that goes all the way around and protects all the internal. That's that sort of Darth Vader.
Right, the Darth Vader Wikipedia Red Letter Media thing.
Yeah.
Right,
It's crazy elaborate.
Probably don't fan wank it off. I mean, because it's a thing of the extra clips for his handgun. I could believe there's one in his leg.
Yeah,
whatever. It's when you start. I read something somewhere theorised that his hand feeds bullets into the gun, and it's like, no, mate, if you better warm up if you're going to stretch like that. Yeah, see, this just looks like a set so much, doesn't it? Like,
that's another thing they managed to hide, because it always seems like Peter Weller's Robocop was quite diminutive in stature.
But I
don't think he's a short man.
I always found him quite imposing. So I think he's upward of 6 foot.
It's shot that way, but actually, when you see him on like some of the behind the scenes stuff,
right? Okay, yeah, but you don't feel that in the movie. But
no,
he's upwards of 6 feet, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Paige Fletcher, mate, is like 5'1".
Yeah.
Isn't he? Oh no. Oh, Will.
Who are you? That's clearly a sort of reprieve of that. But
it really is.
It's in a corridor, for God's sake.
Fred Decker talked the talk in terms of... Fracker talked the talk in terms of appreciating the first movie, and you can see that because there are deliberate callbacks to it in this.
Yeah.
It's just so... I think it's just kind of endemically broken, isn't it? I think it's so kind of... it wants to ape that film, but the script has been mandated to be kind of more child-friendly. But I also think even if like this exact film with more swearing and guts, it's not a good film. That's not a good film.
Again, we've talked about the difference between an adult film and a mature film, and how different those things are. And it's kind of like, actually, I mean... I'm trying to think of a better way of phrasing that, because obviously those two things still don't quite describe what we're talking about. But it's like, this is an adult film in terms of like it contains adult things, but it's not mature in its telling of the story. It's a very immature story.
He's got a Desert Eagle because, of course, he has.
Yeah.
Much like Clarence Boddicker, Black Desert Eagle.
That's true.
No, exactly. This is handled so badly because it's very obviously Stephen Root, and then he just walks out into the light, and it's supposed to be a reveal.
Isn't there a Family Guy where they have to meet in an underground car park, and it's like it's Kermit the Frog in like a trench coat and stuff? It's so obviously him.
That is awful. He's really clearly him.
Because why would?
Yeah, of course, right. And this is sort of. I don't know, I'm trying to think of what's happened so far. I think this is the first truly clownish bit of Robocop. It's like when he's in the pimp car.
Pimp mobile.
What is your problem, sucker? And he's like, oh, sorry, officer.
I am dead.
I don't have a willy.
Yeah. I'm a nutless wanderer.
So ha ha ha, I'm going to rape you. Ha ha ha. I mean, what's...
Yeah.
And look, again, that's a reprise on Robocop, the first Robocop.
Yeah.
Though no one's getting shot in the dick this time.
In the dick.
If we see rule of escalation, he should shoot both their dicks off because it's a sequel. So and that is those guys get shot in the body armor, right? Go through the window.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually kill him. I mean, I say it's justified in the story because having Robocop just go around murdering cops, quote unquote cops, is great for the character. But at the same time, that's kind of designed like that because kids, maybe,
Yeah.
So this, and this has got the sticky lift door, isn't it?
Oh yeah, which is again, it's random gag to put in it.
Yeah, it's the kind of elevator door stacks. It's that kind of clownish, good kind of set location, like the rundown hotel. Which, if you watch American movies, you'd think everywhere's just made up of rundown 1930s hotels.
Yeah,
it always kind of reminds me a little bit of.
Oh
God, yeah.
That's awful. Don't.
Why do that?
Again,
waste of ammunition. Like, why? One thing I understand about the Desert Eagle is like I believe that like no one in law enforcement or the military actually uses it because it's horrifically impractical.
There's two different versions. So there is
357 and there's a .50.
There's
a Baby Eagle as well.
There's a 50 cal, but it's like it's of what I gather it's presumably more like a sort of tool that you would use in
Well, I think it's kind of a sports type thing. It's target shooting and hunting. It's not. I'm sure
Yeah,
some people
I mean,
will
it's
tell us, but
because-
like it doesn't really have much practical application. which is
Especially like a 50 cal round fired from such a
handgun.
short barrel. It's like it's not really,
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
the
so
range on that's not gonna
ridiculously
be great.
difficult to handle. Anyway.
Even at 50, I mean, their insistence on putting Barretts in everything when there's a
Yeah,
sniper
right.
scene, it's like you don't use that for sniping
It's for
people.
vehicles.
Yeah.
yeah. It's just because it looks cool.
I remember someone telling me on Monuments Men, one of the actual military guys on it, said like you can fire a Barrett if the bullet passes you within like a couple of meters range or something, just the shockwave could rip your arm off.
Shit in fucking because it's designed to pierce armor.
Beg your pardon?
Right? Oh no, that was German. Sorry.
Scheißenficken.
I mean, oh man, it's really, really hard.
I know.
It's really hard.
I'm finding it hard as well. But yeah, it's apparently that's true. Is that
To be fair, I was just imagining the visceral experience of someone's arm being torn off by a shockwave.
Just purely by a shockwave. That sort of happens in one of the Call of Duties, although I think it's implied that it's actually the round hit them, but it's like it rips, you shoot someone and it tears their arm off.
Jesus.
But it could have been that, yeah.
So doesn't he end up tearing it turns us into a convertible, basically.
Yeah, something like
I mean, this is quite reminiscent of Terminator 2, isn't it? Like the
Terminator.
Terminator.
But it's also reminiscent of that, of Isaac Hayes' Pitmobile from...
Yes, it
Escape
did.
from New York.
And again, the first Robocop film. 'Cause
Yeah.
The Clarence team's van,
Yeah.
Because the tables are turned and he's fighting the police or whatever, I guess.
I guess,
Authority.
kinda, whatever.
Corporations are bad and that.
Yeah, see, look, his arms are moving way too fast to control the car.
Yeah, right.
So you
that
shouldn't
gun.
show it.
I don't know the name of that gun. That crazy gun that the other guy's got, and you see it
with
a
the
lot in
magazines
movies.
on the top, isn't it?
It looks like some kind of futuristic space weapon.
Which is why I presumed that they used it. And all this.
Yeah.
It's like what's it? I always call it the RCP-90 because that's I think what it's
Yeah,
called
like
in GoldenEye.
I can't remember the real name of that.
Yeah,
It's
but
just
it's
a mad looking.
with the clear magazine that sits on the stock, like on the back of the gun. It's
you
crazy,
can
but it holds
take
a
it out.
ton of rounds because
RCP-90 was the stuff.
the bomb was that was the stuff.
That's the stuff. Lovely stuff. No swearing.
Here at Val Verde.
See, this is look at that.
It's like,
That looked like
Don't-
Wacky Races.
Yeah.
That had a real sort of Dick Dastardly vibe to it. Bloody hockey, like too much hockey. Oh yeah, he throws money at them, doesn't he?
yeah, that's
Which
right.
is a very good ploy, though it is very Wacky Races. Again, it's just sort of like wah, wah.
Yeah,
Hold on, no, none of his prime directives said don't kill kids with a pimp car.
it's just kids at play. as
Directive 4, don't kill kids with a pimp car.
And that also that thing is it's just for the audience. And Terminator does this as well, where it's like in his vision, it says in text what's in front of him.
It's like weapons located.
yeah,
It's like that bit in the Robocop remake where it's like, conclusion, totally stoned. And it's like, what the...
I mean, even in terms of like the thing where it gives him the list of responses and stuff like that, that is just for the audience because why would it have that?
Yeah,
there isn't a
right.
little man in there working the controls to
Then
like choose the thing.
it's and the ultimate expression of that is and I bring this up time and time again, Terminator Salvation, Skynet has tables and chairs.
Yeah.
But then they double down on that in Genesis with the Terminator driving the lorry, which is so good.
Yeah.
Oh, she's hacked the lights in a 50-year-old car manufacturing plant. Yeah, mate.
So you're gonna win then.
I'm not a traitor. He's doing his traitor
To
face.
stop off and shave. That was the thing with a lot of films, and I suppose it still continues as well. Where it's like everyone was clean shaven. You know what I mean? Like, even though days are supposed to have passed, it's like they're clean shaven because I guess that was for continuity. It was the easiest thing to do. Is to just always turn up every day clean shaven.
You could cause yourself some bloody headaches, couldn't you?
Well, of course, yeah. Because if you're all shooting in one location, you don't want to have to remember like where this is. You'd have to film in sequence essentially in order to be able to.
I was going to say his plan. Look out! One man has one gun. good traitoring. Just walk into their base.
What's that? A Ruger? What's that called?
Was it like a T28, like a P228? Like
No, it's a Sturm Ruger or something like. It was very popular in the 90s. What Arnold had in True Lies.
right. Oh,
That's what he had two
that's
of
on
in Desperado.
the cover of the True Lies. isn't it?
Nickel, yeah, it's nickel plated. It's not or whatever it is. It's not nickel. Sorry, not nickel plated.
Good stunt work here. The staging of this is impressive. Rack in quick.
To show, racking in just covers so many things.
There's so many things you can do by racking in.
I did look up what CCH stands for, but I forget now. It's like Christine.
Charlie's Chocolate Factory. It's all again. It's all again.
I christen you Charlie's possessive chocolate hack.
It stands for Christine, huh?
Christine Christensen here. Pounder.
Christine Histine Pounder.
Water whole pounder.
Costco helicopter pounder. Oh, I love that. It's like L. Ron Hubbard. You know those people. There's a couple of actors I can't think of top of my head who do the. It's like me being R. James Jackson or whatever.
Right.
Ollie Ermy, for example.
Yeah.
It's the strange. I don't like my first name, so I'm condensing it.
Cubic capacity. Huge pounder. Huge pounder.
Huge pounder.
Cubic. Yeah.
Oh God, was she in which? She's in. You ever seen any of the Tales from the Crypt movies? She got like Bordello with Blood and Demon Knight.
Yeah,
I'm certain she's in Demon Knight. I like Demon Knight. I haven't watched it in ages.
I used to love him as a kid. Yeah, it was with the ghoulie guy at the start. It's like a.
It's got Billy Zane in it, right? So it's the blood-filled amulet thing.
Right. They were whatchamacallums, what's it called? Oh God, sorry, I didn't give much.
As long as it's not a swear word, you can say it if you like.
Yeah.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? No, you don't know what I mean because I haven't really been very clear about it. Never mind. Where it's like little episodes in a thing.
Yeah, what, like anthology?
Anthology, thank you.
Oh.
Japers. Is that not what Tales of the Crypt was?
Yeah, it was, but the movies were standalones.
Oh, I
see.
So
feature-length
I saw the...
Oh, yeah, no, sorry, right, yeah, so Tales from the Crypt, yeah, so the show was the little goblin, skeleton guy. Yeah, there's one episode of Tales from the Crypt directed by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's in the intro. Of course, yeah. Yeah, the movies are kind of says Bordello Blood,
is spooky.
Demon Knight. I'm so scared. Does Felton Perry and Robert Duquesne, do they ever these two characters? They ever interact at any point in the series? Otherwise, I don't recall that these two sort of ever meet.
Oh well, when he brings Robocop in.
Oh yeah, I suppose they're in the precinct, but they don't really talk properly. Like he talks to Bob Morton.
That's right.
But yeah, it's Felton Perry. I love it when he turns up in Dumb and Dumber because I always forget until I'm watching it. And he's like the FBI guy that sets up the sting.
Yeah. You have to watch Midnight Run.
Yeah,
you've got to watch Midnight Run. We have to get that.
I know. I've done a wrong. I was too busy watching things with names like Cyborg, Mangala 9, The Revenging.
Well, I don't want to build it up too much in your estimation before you've even seen it, but actually,
it was used as a lyric in an Adam and Joe song, and that's all I need. That's all I need. Cap Rebellion. Those badges sound very tinny. They've really saved a lot of money. Yeah.
Those extras acting is quite tinny.
Shit.
That one's good.
This police station's rubbish. Again, I haven't really talked about this yet, but I talked about it in previous incarnations of, like the Robocop. Each Robocop film takes place in a completely different location, trying to look like the previous one, and it's really weird. Like because they're all supposed to be Detroit. So I mean, if you wanted an explanation, it would be, I guess they move precincts from each movie.
I mean, I could buy that. It's okay, I guess, but yeah.
Oh, this is really
stuff, yeah.
No. This, I think this was like by Brad Bird or something, isn't it? No, that I'm going to get loads of crap for that. This is by because this animation's really nice.
I mean, it's very Ren and Stimpy, Ed, and Eddie. That sort
also,
of style. Also,
there's a little bit of The Simpsons in it as well. It's not going to be Brad Bird. I'm going to get in trouble for saying that. But this is by someone notable, and it's probably the nicest bit in the film. Isn't it?
Stimpy, you hit it. Gee, Ren. And I guess that's their way of saying, look, toys of nasty things, and it's like, it's like.
It's just Robocop. Don't they show footage of like Robocop's? Oh no, that might be from the Robocop series.
I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
The foot. It's a dead nun. He steps on a police badge as well.
Yeah. As long as you flash reenactment at it, it's okay to show it.
Yeah, exactly. She just loses it.
She's really good. I like that. It's a nice little moment from her.
I like that. Yeah, and it sort of shows about. It's a nice little moment of showing the popular conception of Robocop. She's just like, this is crap. Oh yeah, and then she sees
frustratingly, we've never really seen the moment that would endear him to the public in that way. You know what I mean? That sort of self-sacrificial moment, even though it happens obviously in the films, but it's like publicly, it's not shown, which is a frustration. I think
there's some great escape crap going on here with like the more kind of modernist building stuff. There's weird angular buildings. It's a good location. It's, so she watches the media break guy picking his nose, as she puts it. She hotwired the internet.
Now to download the megabytes.
There you go. Eat it. Eat it. Eat it.
See, if this was in the first film, he'd be like stuffing a load of cocaine.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like doing a big line of Chang. Just kind of
China White.
China White. G'day. I'm Media Break. We only made a bloody Robocop.
Right. Before I go on here, I'll have to stuff a pound of gack up my nose.
All right, I'm bloody Robocop.
CCH pound of gack.
I bought it off of Christine her pounder. No, this is the Rover, the OCP art room.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's like some sort of Nazi art repository.
Stolen art.
That has to be feeding into the sort of fascisty kind of.
I guess, or is it just because Robocop 2 really leans into that, right? And
yeah.
It feels like then in this they can't, because they just have the guards dressed as Nazis with the big Nazi OCP flag, and in this one it's like, I guess they can't be as on them because you can't just have these guys in black. Then
they've kind of got swastikas on their shoulders actually. If you
look
at the logo,
those kind of
far off.
There is like
I think
there is a fascist symbol that is like a three-pronged bendy thing.
Is there? Okay,
yeah, I believe so. Atlanta, Georgia. Cadillac Heights.
Cadillac.
Cadillac.
I drive a
A
Cadillac.
Cadillac. A forward. And a Cadillac.
That's the English pronunciation.
That's how you say it in this country, yeah.
And a Dodge
Chevrolet.
Charger.
Work clothes. Yeah, I mean, this location is really great, you know.
Yeah.
Right, it gives it depth and stuff. I mean, it's like a kind of sort of cheap facsimile of the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's
I don't know,
just
cheap. I mean, stuff like that. It's a bunch
background.
of bloody police cars. Kind of, you know, I don't know what the translation is, 22 million to now, but like, you know, I'd say they've got their money's worth. It's just.
I mean, they've obviously had the car. The cars are all obviously painted or wrapped in a. They must have been painted in that kind of matte black finish and whatever. But
they're Fords, aren't they? The police cars. You can see the logos covered up.
no, I think you can see the logo. Can't you? They're Ford.
I think that if you look on it,
oh yeah, maybe
it's like again because I think economy of time. I think it's just slapping the paint over the lot and not.
be.
They just
Even still, you'd have to
they
take
just
that
drive
apart.
through it. No. What you do is you go to a car wash, right?
Yeah.
And you just fill it with matte paint, and then there you go.
Tape up the lights.
And
and
the windows and that, yeah, and then
This stuff is nonsense. See, when he has to fight it, it is though. It literally is nonsense because it's like he doesn't. All he does is stand around. Look. Why can't he see him now?
I know,
because we reveal him in the shot.
I
Don't we?
know.
So, I mean,
And the fact that he just cuts his hand off and he puts the gun on.
and he just from here on out, he just falls over.
Yeah, again, this is
Constantly
making
falls over.
Robocop, because there's one thing, like Robocop looking kind of tragic and tortured is one thing. So when, you know, he's being kind of that kind of Frankenstein's monster scene in the first one when he's being kind of chased down and stuff, or when he's being kind of literally sort of crucified in a way in the second one, but like having him fall on his arse and stuff.
Yeah, like here. Beep.
Donk. So he cut. One thing that annoyed me in a kind of weird sort of OCD child way is like he cuts his arm off and then the gun arm just goes on. It's like, well, surely that would damage the interface to the
Yeah,
arm.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
didn't,
So
like,
cut it off cleanly around the
there, one piece, like.
It's so true because it attaches kind of like a lens attachment, doesn't it? It's got that sort of
Yeah,
turn.
like glunk glunk, like it locks in. Like, does he like rocket this one in the face? Is that it? Like, does he blow it up with a rocket or something?
Like that, yeah. But yeah, like you say, like if he's chopped his arm off, but it will still attach. The other thing will still attach. Then presumably the arm would attach again.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I forgot he wrecks the fingers. Yeah. I mean, what is that bloody sword made out of?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, look, see, it
Just
comes
sort of
off
perfectly clean.
like he's unscrewed it. That looks great. You can't see.
Oh, you can.
You can see a little bit. You can see a little bit. Okay.
Look.
That was that spin.
It's a good way of getting
That
out
was
of
all
it.
bloody close.
Yeah.
That was.
Look.
God, that was horrific.
You were saying, Richard.
I said it was close, and from the other, that's insulting.
Dire. It's utterly dire.
See, that's the kind of stuff now. Popped out in a computer, done.
Yeah, true.
Done. It's like
Easily
Terminator
rotoscoped
2 when you're trying to hide Mr. Universe's arm up his own back. Like, good luck, mate.
Yeah,
You know what I
even
mean?
Carl Weathers, in Predator, do a good job. But it's like because they want that spinning round shot of him getting the other gun out. It's like that's a great shot, but it overexposes his back too much. But whatever. We can't say bad things about Predator. Apparently,
Sacred cow.
Bury it in the second hour. Say what you like in the second hour. Everyone who's bored is bored and is bugging
Yeah,
off.
that's true. Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no!
This is quite Predator 2 like in the
Scorpio
opening.
is that it?
Yeah, well, it has that kind of.
Yeah, all that. He's got the Angelica Houston eyes.
He's got Betty Davis eyes. But it's just like, why does he just look on the fire?
Oh, yeah, it's just a hilt
Why
with a
would that
sword.
knock Robocop on his arse?
Yeah.
He just sort of hit him in the eyes with his sword.
If I made that costume, I wouldn't want people throwing it on its arse like that.
No.
It's made of like fiberglass. I'd be constantly.
Well, no, you can see
stressing.
that was a stunt costume. When he landed, you could see,
Oh,
that
it's like the
normally
kind
the,
of-
the chest plate's separate from the black, but it
Right,
wasn't. It was
okay.
all rubberized.
One
and,
rubbery.
Again, 4K or high def in general isn't kind to these films, really.
I mean, this is just a DVD. It's being upscaled, but
Yeah.
damn. There we go. So I think Shout Factory have done Blu-rays of 2 and 3 now with extras, which is really great because, I would love to know more about the productions of these. And the info has always been super thin on the ground.
Why would a robot look aghast when he was about to get shot? That's the problem I have with some of the Terminator stuff, even the first one and the second one especially. It's like, why does the T-1000 look up with a surprised expression on his face when he gets shot?
Yeah, there are some moments in Terminator, with the first Terminator, where he looks surprised at stuff.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't really happen. I know it's mimicking human, but... Mimic human?
Yeah, but not when he's not around anything that he needs to do that with.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. When he's in a fucking lorry on his own, it's like, who's that for? And half his face is hanging off as
In
well.
a
So
trucking lorry.
What did I?
You said the F word.
Did I just do a sweat? Oh,
Yeah. Don't worry. Yeah.
We get this a learning curve.
I'm sure I've said it without realising. It's also better than that character too. Because like, why does he have to look at anything? Like, why are his eyes where his eyes are? I mean, does he see out of every part of him? Like, I just don't know. It's just too much of it.
Yeah.
Raises too many questions.
It's a rabbit hole down which you don't want to go. I'm here to get the paintings.
I mean, it is a bit like the Eagle's Nest, isn't it? This in that they're high atop a tower and they've
Right.
like artwork presumably.
Oh, that steak was $5.95.
Yeah. Shut up! I mean my steak.
What's $6.95? Is that something about chicken?
Huh?
What's that about
It's obviously not that bad because they're still serving breakfast and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at them, all those
Like,
bog standard 2.4
What
children.
is that? That's like the one. There's do you remember in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey? They cut to the English family in Marmite, and one of them's played by William Sadler.
Vaguely.
And it's like, oh my! It's just like that.
I'd better get up now, even though
Yeah, just been lying there.
It's like, well, I guess my work here is done.
I mean that. I'm not going to lie. I do that sometimes. It's just like
just shut down for a moment.
just lie there, just like.
Yeah.
I guess he's.
Why does he have to crawl?
He got hit in the head with a sword, Duncan. That's very bad for
cracked his visor.
You can't hit a Robocop in the head with a sword.
Not even the sharp bit, though.
No, the hilt.
The
of the
blunt
sword.
end of a sword.
He's allergic to hilt.
And lilt.
Lilt's not a thing, is it?
I don't think so. I don't know.
But it's a totally tropical taste. Yeah, that's one of the things. I don't really drink fizzy drinks so much unless I'm mixing them with vodka. So, like, what the Lilt ladies, are they unemployed now?
Are they implying that his legs don't work anymore and that's why he needs the backpack? Because they do work.
Bloody hope not, because he
Well,
stands
they
up
work,
later.
he stands up later. So it's like, oh, well, so why is he crawling about? I mean, he's certainly taking his sweet ass time doing something about anything.
Oh, that was cool. There's the kind of bullet holes appeared in the car as he was.
Oh yeah,
Hopping out. That was
and I like the guy who's standing on top of the truck who's lying down now. But that was quite a cool image.
Yeah, OCP tank.
Yeah, this Robocop, isn't one for haste, is he? Like as shown from the start, he's certainly. That looks like Morgan Freeman on top of it. That's when Robocop realised he needed to get a wiggle on.
There go those Robocops
Yeah.
migrating across the Arctic. That's my.
I'd like to say that Murphy fought a good fight. Crawled through a river of shit when he could have walked. All this stuff. See, some of this stuff's all right. It looks sort of very much like the Terminator versus Robocop cover art.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
Which I guess is because that's just this.
I mean, this isn't. But it's not the worst compositing in the world. But the problem is, Robocop shouldn't be flying. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. I mean, as a technical exercise, it's not
disproportionate
awful.
to- yeah.
But like, he shouldn't be flying because he's Robocop.
And I thought his visor was broken, so why
Yes,
was he able to do all that?
Did that just show the visor cracked in that close-up?
In the
Is that
close-up,
what was
looking
going
at
on?
him, but then cut like to his POV, and it's all working all fine. Like
Because 100%, when we see him in a minute, the visor is not cracked, right?
I don't know.
I'm certain when he's in the tower and when he's
Well, we'll
my
find out,
friends call me Murphy. You're like it's not. Oh fuck! I knew that was gonna fucking happen.
Oh dear.
Oh whoops! I just spilt water.
He spilt water. Algorithm, please don't dock us. Did you get Alan?
A little bit, yeah. It's one of Viper's charging cables.
Oh. I'll cover for you. You certainly didn't spill it on any electronic equipment.
Professional, whatever. Well, I'm just going to deal with that.
At least it was done down there and not up on the table where all...
Yes, that's why I put it on the floor.
Yeah.
For the exact reason, so it's not on the bloody laptop. You stupid slag!
Has he said that yet?
No, it's right at the end.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Oh no. Alright.
Hit him with
some steps.
With a step, yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8.
It's like musical steps, so when you open them out, plays steps.
The music of steps, yes.
Yeah, see, that definitely shattered before he got anywhere near it.
Jeez,
Which you could have done away with just by saying he shot his gun at it or something.
Doesn't he take it off?
Yeah,
and then puts it
just
back
shrugs
on?
it off and then rolls
It's got
onto
those,
it.
'cause I remember the toy had those arm pieces, the cuffs.
But of course, because he gets knocked on his arse again, he can just roll onto
Just
it.
rolls onto it, yeah. Look, see, his visor's not broken.
It is, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, you just have to look a bit closer. It's just not definitive. Like, if you look at it, it's all kind of cracked.
God, that's weak sauce.
But it's just not lit right, so you can't see his eye.
Because the thing of damaging Robocop's visor is a motif,
There, look,
isn't
you
it?
can see his eye there.
Oh yeah, I've never noticed that because I've only ever watched it on DVD or VHS and I've upscaled it. I've never noticed that before.
It's just not lit right.
Jesus, you can
Can't
barely
see.
tell, can you? That's awful.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
really bad, look, kind of porcelain grinning robot.
Yeah.
Or like, because the good thing about these, they are true robots,
Yeah.
and I think it's the first time you see that in this series.
Right, yeah.
Well, Ed 209, of course. Sorry, that's daft.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true.
I suppose you have the kind of thing there
But
of
a
the
humanoid
Japanese versus American design.
Yeah.
Americans come up with Ed 209, the Japanese come up with this.
Yeah, well, also the Americans can't not have a human element in it, I suppose.
Well,
Because
apart from Ed 209.
Well, Ed 209 is like a tank, though. He's not really he's not a
Oh, but I say, but it's a pure robot.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, and these guys are pure robots, we think.
But they're humanoid,
Yes. Yeah.
It's sort of a lazy thing to like make blow off one of their heads so that it can be too,
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! It knocks him on his ass again.
And it is a bit like, look, you blew one's head, you killed the other one actually quite easily.
Yeah.
So,
Fire your rocket again.
oh god,
Fire your
that
rocket.
bloody thing was. I can't believe his visor's cracked. That's blown my mind a little bit.
Yeah. Well, because it's unearned in this, but obviously in the first one it's a big moment because that's when you start seeing his eye, and he's looking at Ed 209, and you get a read on what he's thinking.
Yeah. And again,
It's
the thing
a
of damaging the
lit world.
visor is kind of the motif of the series.
Well, it was like he was blind and now he can see and all that kind of stuff as well.
How did? I mean,
His head just
she just used
disappeared.
Wi-Fi to hack those robots,
One would assume, And
which
you have to,
didn't exist yet.
Their dicks on like an extendable cord that you then plug into a
a
USB.
bit of RJ45.
Yeah. There you go. They're nuclear, you slag. Or...
That's
20
not too
yards.
bad. That's not too bad. Stupid slag.
You could probably run 20 yards.
Well, I mean, yeah, downstairs.
You
I
might as well
guess.
try. Like,
You get make a try for it.
20 yards is nothing. Ow, my shit, lower shin. My very
I need that for
specific...
standing. He did not grab both of them at all.
No.
Just there. And suddenly she's
sort
on
of
his
ran
back.
them over, really, if anything.
I mean,
This where it just flashes as well, negative. Look.
oh man, that's what they used to do when,
Lazy.
like, that's how they used to show the Daleks in the 1960s was the
Right.
negative. And this is like,
What is
no,
that
no,
supposed
no.
to signify? What the radiation has caused you to see through them? Or something? It's like
It's not the first time I've seen the negative effect for radiation stuff.
No,
is it?
but-
So it's like, yeah, I guess like radiation. The good thing is there are very few people that can vouch that isn't true.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
yeah.
I got blown up, and I
You can't see through yourself, though, can't you? Apparently, or something. That's what
seemingly that sounds absolutely awful.
these seamen.
I'm a Skellington. If you do it to a Skeletor, he suddenly has flesh.
There you go. It's basically opposite energy.
It's negative. Intergalactic cackle.
We're not hosting what would you say, an intergalactic kegger.
Oh, you're going to gentrify. Jokes about gentrification. You're fired in Japanese.
McFly! I can't be fired, I'm fired! What's all that yelling? Oh, nothing more. Yeah, see, this is just a rubbish button on the film, isn't it? He's like, you're okay. And his visor's fine there.
I knew it. I mean, what the fudge, Duncan?
What the flipping heck?
What the plucking fudge?
Family-friendly entertainment. Brought to you by Val Verde Broadcasting.
Balls.
Balls!
Oh, shall we use a mother fudging rack in?
Oh, let's do. Probably see the dolly in his reflected in his
Robocop.
chin.
Oh, Fred Decker. Do you really want your name right there?
No, Smithy time, I think. Alan Smithy. Just like Fred Decker all over this.
I'm sure Frank Miller was thrilled to be attached to this. Well, there you go. Robocop 3. I think we talked about that in a different way this time.
Yeah, I suppose
I
so.
believe
Less
so.
sweary way, anyway.
Well, was it though?
Borderline,
I mean,
but yeah.
jeez, I don't know I'm doing it half the time. I just stick to blasphemy. That's good. No one's censoring blasphemy.
Starring Bobbert Rock
Bobbert Rock.
and Sean Allen.
Tip Rawn.
These people just changed their names so they would be associated with Con Joss.
I like the idea of someone called Tip. Just the Tip.
Hill Genesee. I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yeah, that's the portmanteau. No,
that's
the
difficult.
spooner.
PCH Counder.
Oh,
That's
I'd have been P. Chounder.
Oakam. I don't know.
Good luck with that one.
Dobbert Roquai. I don't know.
Remy Ryan, they screwed you at the first go. Yeah. There you go, you're done, mate.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, there you go. That's Robocop 3. So there you go. It is not good. I've gone out my way to find positives today. I was quite naturally inclined to find the positives in it today. I'm walking back my cinematography comments because I was like, God, man, this is full of movement and stuff. And then it's like, oh, it's just loads of rack ends.
It's the same.
Yeah. Lighting's all right, you know. But there you go.
I suppose because we haven't watched the first two in a lead up to it, we haven't got them as a frame of reference. So it's one thing to sort of be like, oh, it's not that bad, but it's like because we haven't watched the other two.
I mean, it is that bad. I think that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's just there are positives in it, and if you want it slagged off, you can go find it elsewhere on the internet, including by me elsewhere if you want, and you. But yeah, you know, it sucks. It's hard to watch. It's better when you sit around talking about it. It's all fine.
Yeah.
Because we're entertaining ourselves by talking about it, and there's that kind of lingering feeling of never having to watch it again.
Yeah, but then that's what we said last time, and here we are.
Yeah, well, unless something really drastic happens, I wouldn't worry too much about that. It's kind of like, I think, you know, if I was going to draw the line under something really, it would be that I never want to watch bloody Batman vs Superman again, simply because we reviewed it.
Yeah.
We commentaried it, which was painful, and it's like, well, and I even said on that, it's like, I'm never doing this again, and I don't care enough about. Many Yakim's back, I guess, working with Robert Burke. That's really important. Yeah. Sorry, we didn't mention Many Yakim at all, but Many Yakim was the movement coach for Robocop, so that's nice. There's continuity there, which is good, which explains a lot, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, even in this situation, I'm like, do I really want to do bloody BVS for more clicks when it's 3 hours of my sodden life? I seem to remember we did that in like bloody August or something, and it was really hot, and we all sat in
something like that. The thing for me is definitely 4-2 Dark World. I watched that, did the commentary. Something went wrong with the technicals on that, and so we had to do it again, all in the space of a week. So I had to do it 3 times in a week.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not happy about it.
I mean, that's a nothing film.
Hancock.
I don't.
Sorry.
It's a nothing film, but 3 times in a week is enough to just drive you off the edge. Isn't it?
It's like having toast for dinner 3 times a week. It's just not good.
Dry.
No, sorry. It's like having white bread for dinner.
Oh, it's a dry toast.
Mayonnaise on it or something. But like light
followed
mayonnaise.
by unflavoured porridge.
Yeah.
And wallpaper paste to drink.
So, yeah, I know. It's like having ready salted crisps and
like tap water for dinner.
Just what's the blandest meal available? Unflavoured Angel Delight. Just,
Egg white. And,
if you could invent some kind of protein paste, that would be the one. Well, this is still going.
Good for you, Patsy Althouse.
Uncle J. Cayman. That is an interesting name.
He's an ADR editor.
I'm not sure. I mean, is that name or title? Would I go by Uncle? I don't think I would.
Do we was it a thing we used to call Brad Uncle Brad?
I don't know where that came from.
I don't know.
Yeah, but it was for some reason Uncle Brad. I don't know. I have no idea where that came from. But
certainly don't think of you as an Uncle Brad.
Well, yeah. I mean, is that what Brad gets for being slightly older than us? Calling him Uncle? That seems a bit off.
That's a bit harsh.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. As I've maintained, Brad is Britain's nicest man, so
yeah, he is.
Sure, it just bounces off him.
He definitely is. I wish I was that nice.
Not miserable bunts like us. That's right, bunts algorithm, which is a word now. I mean, do you remember when Frank did that? Not Frank Allen, Frank of. I've forgotten Frank's name. I'm not letting that stand. I'm really sorry, Frank. We're Facebook friends and everything. The supercut of us swearing on the Spider-Man video.
Yeah.
And it is just absurd. Like how many... Frank Ireland. Sorry, Frank. Frank did he's done loads of cool stuff based on things we've done. And he deserves mad credit. Yeah, he did the supercut of us swearing on the Spider-Man video. And it's ridiculous. And you can tell how many of the swears are from the same sentence.
Yeah, well, I won't reenact it.
FCC, FSSSCC, FFF.
Doidy C, FFCSS. Yeah. That I was quite ashamed at that, to be honest, when I saw that.
I loved it.
Goodness, how many times did I say fudge?
I was fine with it, mate. I mean, now we're at this point where we don't have that luxury, apparently.
Oh, speaking of uncles and Brad, his uncle was an incredible photographer, actually, and he took an awesome picture of Sean Connery, Michael Caine, and Roger Moore. He showed me the book.
That picture of those three, because there's a really famous... That's Brad's uncle?
I believe so, yeah. He showed me a picture of all of them.
See, I nearly swore there, because my go-to reaction is just to drop F-bombs when I hear something cool.
But yeah, no, he showed me the book, and he was like all like Elton John before he was famous, and all this kind of crazy cool stuff. His name was Dickie, I think. I don't think Watson though. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Brad, if you're listening.
I remember him mentioning that. I remember him mentioning that he had a bunch of photographs.
You should see the book. Yeah, next time you're around, I'll get him to show you the book because it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's so cool, and it's not like your standard pap shots. It's clearly like these people like him because they're all posing with each other for the shots in different like some of it's red carpet, some of it's parties.
Yeah, he told me about this, but I haven't seen it.
Oh, they're great. They're absolutely great, and he's really good at capturing kind of like the sort of bromance between those three guys, for example. And it's like a lot of Michael Caine and Shakira, like his wife. Lots of pictures of them. So it's great. It's really, really great. Yeah,
there you go.
Check it out.
Well, the nightmare is over, Duncan. Would you care to wrap up? Just swear loads now. There's like tons of swears.
As the Reverend said to the actress, "Shall I wrap up?" Whatever it is, I don't know. Some sex thing that my dad would say. Funny hair. Yes. Well, thank you for sitting through that with us. I really appreciate it, and thank you for obviously sticking around. Please, if you enjoyed that, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. There are also links to all of our social media things, including Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, SoundCloud. No, not SoundCloud. But anything we're doing is down below. Please check it out. Please go along. Please support. Please follow the Amazon affiliate links and do any shopping you got going on via those. It just really, really helps us out. And yeah, thank you so much. And we will see you again next time when we will be doing a commentary on
Mr. Black.
Hi everybody, it's Duncan Casey. I just wanted to take a moment to talk to you about our new storefront at redbubble.com. Yeah! We have all new merchandise including t-shirts, mouse mats, mugs,
phone covers, and much more besides. Fucking merchandise! Please go over there and have a look. It really helps us out. It helps keep the lights on, keep the channel moving forward, and spreading the word. Capitalism! So please head over to redbubble.com, links in the description, and check it out.
Support your 7th or 8th favourite YouTube channel by buying crap, tat, junk, hogwash and filth at redbubble.com/people/Val Verde Shop.